Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and in this video what I want to talk about is the JavaScript eval function versus the JavaScript function constructor when it comes to creating like dynamic operations. Okay, so first let me just show you like how you could use the eval function, why you shouldn't use the eval function, and why if you need to do something like that the function constructor might be a better choice. Okay, so let's create just an index.js. So imagine that I want to create a function that const calc equals, and we'll just say we have a item B you want to add together, subtract together, and then an operator. Okay, there's a couple different ways I can do this. I could do something like this. I could just say, like, if if operator equals plus, then return. Oh, my throat is toasty. Okay, that's a bit better. Return a plus b. Okay, and then I can just do an if statement for each one, but that can get kind of tedious for if you wanted to create like a calculate function for pretty much every possibility. So this is where like a lot of people might use the eval function, because then I can just do this: return eval, and then I just pass it a string, and what eval does, it evaluates that string as JavaScript code. So I could do just something like this. I could just say a operator B. Okay, and then yeah, so we'll just do console.log calc calc 5 plus. So add 5. See, I can do that. This is all fine and good. Then if I do node index.js, see that works out to be 10, and if this is minus, because I'm just building a string, so it's just going to be like 5 plus 5, or 5, in this case 5 minus 5, so I should have 0. And it works. Okay, 5 divided by 5 should be 1. Okay, it's going to evaluate whatever expression. The problem is, especially if you're building a website that takes user input, okay, there's a good chance, well, not a good chance, but there's a possibility that the user will, if they know that you're using eval, that they can try to enter like full-on all sorts of different JavaScript inside the form. You inject it into the string, and now you have all this other code that's being evaluated that could, be used to sniff around your server or whatever. On top of it, it's kind of slow the way it does it. So if you read the JavaScript documentation, they're like, don't use this. Like, this is bad. Don't use it. Okay? It just has a lot of security issues. It's slow. If you need to do something like this, they recommend using the function constructor. So how would that look like? Okay, well, I pretty much do the same thing. Now, the function constructor uses a capital F. Okay? And basically what it does, it takes a bunch of strings. So first it takes as many strings as you want that represent arguments. So I can just say like A, B, and then whatever the last string is the body of the function. So I could just say, okay, given A and B, what I want to do. Okay, so we can just say A, B operator. Given A, B operator. So given the arguments, I always want to do return A operator B. Okay, no, that's not going to work. A. Oh, wait, no. Then what I would do is I just take A and B, because I already have the calc function surrounding it. So I would do A operator, and I would probably want to use backticks for this. And then that would be what I'd want to do. Okay, and then what you would do is you would want to immediately invoke this function. So make it an ify. So then you would just pass in AB as AB, and then we just wrap this in parentheses just to make sure that it's all one expression. This is also referred to as like a self-executing an ify, an immediately invoked function expression. Okay, or at least one way to write an ify. So again, this is defining the function, and then I'm immediately invoking the function that constructor returns, and then I'm just wrapping in parentheses just to make sure that it's treated as one expression. Although it doesn't like. Well, oh, I think this was one something else. Okay. Okay, so there we go. I should end up getting the same result because this function will return what I want, but the idea is that this structure one is faster if you need to do like evaluate strings to create like a dynamic function, but also offers some layer of protection of limiting what can be passed in and what's available and how it's used. So watch, it just does the same thing. T1, and if I change this to plus. Now, one thing with eval or the function constructor, they have like a global scope, and I do feel like it seems like it gets established before anything else does. So I don't quite want to say it's hoisted. But watch, if I do this, I say const cheese equals Gouda. You think that Gouda, oh, first let me make sure that's a string, that Gouda is defined globally. It's defined right there at the top of the program. Okay. Okay, so you think that if I were to do this, return Gouda, that this would, even though this is going to execute in the global scope, so again, if it's inside of another function, this doesn't, in the string, it can't refer to things from outside. It's kind of given its own separate global scope. So you want to pass in anything you want to use. So watch, if I do this, I'm going to get an error. See, Gouda is not defined. It's like, but yeah, I defined Gouda right here. It's in the global space. Why can't I use it? Now, one question I haven't tried out yet is what happens if I define it with var? Variables declared with var are hoisted, so maybe that does work. So let's see here. Nope. Okay, again, it's going to get its own context. So what if I did want to use variables from the outside? Okay, that's what you'll pass in as an argument. Okay, so you'd pass in, I would maybe pass in cheese here. Okay, and that makes it available. Oh, wait a second. I just realized something. AB. Let's just make sure we test this right. This should be cheese. The name of the variable is cheese. Okay. But it's still, at the end of the day, like you're gonna still get the same result. But let's just try it with var just to make sure we're 100% sure. Okay, see, cheese does not exist. So variables outside of it do not exist. Okay, so you have to kind of be careful what you put in the string. So if I need something from the outside, I do need it to be an argument. Okay, or Control Z. Let's just make it a third argument. Cheese. And then I would just say cheese here. And now it works because I'm passing the value into the function. So the cool thing about the function constructor is that it really does have to be a pure function. It can't, anything it's going to use has to be passed in. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Same thing with eval, but the problem is that eval is not a function, so there's not really a way to pass it in, which also just makes the function constructor just a better way to go. It's faster, more secure, and it's actually a little bit more flexible because you can pass stuff in while you can't really do that with eval. There's no real way to pass stuff into that scope. Now, a couple things I haven't tried yet. I haven't tried what happens if I want to do like something like this. Args. So if I do that, let's see what happens. Okay, and then I want to do is just console log args. Does this work the way it would work in a normal function? Let's find out. And it does. Okay, cool. Okay, so you can do that. So you can do variadic like arguments and have like, you know, an unlimited number of arguments and whatnot. Okay, cool. But that's the function constructor. So the idea is that if you need to do like dynamic stuff like this, this is the way to go. But again, if you're going to refer to outside variables, whether they're classes you defined outside or custom types, custom whatever, you need to make sure you pass it in as an argument of some sort. Okay, I just had to deal with this very much with my recent pattern matcher in library, because originally I built it with eval, but then I realized there were certain things I couldn't do, like check against custom classes I made, to check like a thing's type or whatnot. So I looked into it, and I learned about this function constructor, and this was a solution, and then I still kind of had some edge cases, and I figured, okay, I can pass stuff as an argument, and once you figure all that out, it's pretty flexible, pretty powerful to do a lot of really dynamic code, which is pretty amazing. So now you know, if you need it, you use it. I'll see you all later. But again, remember, don't use eval. If you need to use eval, use the function constructor. I'll see you all later. You have a great day and enjoy.